Aloha and Tashi Delay from Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center here on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. I'm Lama Tashi, and we produce this Dharma program every Thursday night as a series of teachings in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition called shamanistic Lamaism. When we give these methods or teachings, the sole purpose is to take one beyond the confines of their ordinary mind into another state that exists in the mind called natural mind. When you learn to enter into this state through these methods of discipline, meditation, yoga, and so forth, then you become more and more mature as a human being and less involved with the idea of oneself existing separate from everyone and everything else, which is the cause of all pain and suffering in the human condition. Tonight, we're going to use the symbols to compensate for the most harmful emotional afflictions we call conflicting emotions, and the judgmental qualities that cause us so much disturbance in our relationships, in our human body in this life. When we do this, we have six bodhisattva disciplines. So this is called Bodhisattva Training School. And bodhisattva is a term used for a human being using these methods with the guidance of a Lama simply to become realized. And the word realize is the word Buddha. And realize means realize your true nature, which already exists in you, it's innate, and how to use it. So tonight we're going to illustrate these conflicting emotions and the power they carry, but also in the remedies that they carry and how to use these remedies. And before I get into that, all of that, we'll start with refuge. Taking refuge in your own true nature is taking refuge in the guidance of the teacher, or in this case, the Lama, because you can't acquire realization of your true nature and how to use it without this guidance, without the teacher. It's simply not possible. And this refuge is to take your own situation, your body, speech, and mind, and connect to the body, speech, and mind of the teacher's lineage, and all of the methods. The methods is spelled out simply in the first most important part of Tibetan Buddhism is the motivation. And this motivation separates you from all the other so-called religious practices on the planet because they don't have this motivation. So I'm going to read the motivation. In order to attain ultimate realization called enlightenment in oneself and give it to limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and when offer prostration. So this simply means that everything you're going to do in these Buddhist practices with the guidance of the teacher is for everybody else. Limitless mother sentient being. And they fall into three categories: all the humans, all the animals, and all the spirits in the entire universe. So that altruistic motivation is the refuge. I'll chant that in Tibetan to let the spirits and all the cultures of the planet know this is how this method of healing is transferred to all the cultures of the planet, to all human beings. This is the altruistic motivation in Sanskrit. Tag dong jowa nam ke tha dong yam pe sem chen tam she tu di ne ju te ji si jang shu ning po la chi ki bar du. Then we take refuge in the six supports: the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which all Buddhists take refuge in. That's called the three jewels. And the three roots of tantric practice. They're called the three roots. And it goes like this. We go for refuge to all the holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the idams, the deities gathered in our mandala meditation practice. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the symbols of the Dakas and Dakinis, who are the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these six refuges possess the I and the realization called transcending awareness. Then I'll chant that prayer. We chant that prayer together in Sanskrit. Palden lama dampa nam la chaksu chiyo yedam chokor gilatso nam la chaksu chiyo Sanjay chon dende nam la chaksu chiyo Dampe chur nam la chaksu chiyo Kalpe gendum nam la chaksu chiyo Hawo gandro chokyung sume sho yeshe ki shendam dempa nam la chaksu chiyo. Then the Bodhisattva training prayer. Sanjay chodam choki chodam la jekshu bardu dagni chapsu chi dagi jenso jipe sonam ki drola kenjur sanjay druparsho. And that translated into to the Buddha, the Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit practicing the six Bodhisattva disciplines, accomplish realization of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Motivation is altruistic and equally applied to every sentient being. The six refuges are the support of the practice. No matter what method we use, they're incorporated into that method. And the actual practice of the six Bodhisattva disciplines, which anybody can do, is Bodhisattva training, mind training. And since the mind is the boss, the speech and your activities will develop grow, develop, and evolve into higher and higher states of intelligence. And that's called awareness. Everybody has awareness. But the ordinary awareness is all stuck on the self and the drama of the relationships of yourself with others and the world around you. Stuck. And to unstick from that relative state of awareness, one must be diligent and have conviction that your other nature of awareness is the antidote. And tonight is all about this antidote. Off of my right shoulder, there are 5 images. And these 5 images are 5 symbols called the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. D means light, Yana means vehicle. Buddha images. Each one of these is incorporated into every deity in Tibetan Buddhism. Chenrezig, Tara, all the peaceful deities, all the protector deities. And they're simply symbols of the antidote of your most harmful human affliction. And I'm going to read from my teacher's book, Namkai Norbu, of Vivid Awareness, a description of those antidotes. So we start to understand the qualities that these 5 symbols, when practiced in meditation, that all the deities have these 5 as 5 crowns on their heads, 5 jewel crowns. All the protectors in we call dakinis, male and female protectors, have them as 5 jeweled skulls on their head. This simply means every method of Tibetan Buddhism is incorporated into these symbols, of which there are 2,000 altogether. You only need to practice and connect to one bodhisattva method and then use these 5 symbols as antidotes to your emotions. And how do you do that? I'm going to read from Namkai Marabu's book about gathering the knowledge of how to do this. The first one is simply that your mind is clear in its natural state. But from birth, you've been conditioned by outer influences to emotionally react to everything and judge it. And that started when you were in the womb, but really became activated when you came out of your mother's womb. And so this is what he teaches you about that Namkai Norbu, my Lama teacher, what your natural mind is according to these Buddha symbols of maturity. A person who has one disturbing emotion will also have many others. But due to the differences in people and their tendencies, some will have more anger, more stinginess, more dullness or stupidity, more desire, more jealousy, and so forth. And some will have greater portions of arrogance or pride. That is why there are different types of Buddha families. So I just read you why these are on the heads of all the deities and why they're called the 5 Dhyana Buddhas, because Dai in Tibetan means light. And everything in this universe, in your mind and around you in the world, is made of light. And that translates into energy. So number one, you understand that your emotional afflictions are carrying their antidote. Then this disturbing emotion of anger is an agitated state of mind earned by painful sensations based on an unpleasant outer object that you were sensually involved with. When you look at this anger directly, your mind is starting to purify it as not really existing. Even though you feel it in your body and you have it in your mind, its nature is voidness. And that is like an empty mirror of your mind, that state of clarity. Stinginess is the inability to give way to others or the attachment to some attractive object because of you retaining a tight clinging to it or wanting to own it. And this stinginess is purified in your mind's clarity with what is called discerning awareness, that it is simply produced by judgment, an active state of judgment, which is a habit. And if you look directly at it, without it being the object of your stinginess, it disappears. And that's discerning awareness. That's the antidote. Now, the first Buddha was that anger being purified of anger. This Buddha, which is red in color, hard to see that, is the antidote to desire or stinginess. These Buddhas have name, and they actually existed in India as human beings. Okay, but their names have now become the names of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. So the first one is the Buddha of stinginess is Amitabha. And the Buddha antidote of anger is Aksabayya. Just to know they have name. When you move through these emotions, the way I just suggested, the essence of your dull mind is clear self-awareness. In other words, knowing your true nature, that you're already a Buddha and how to connect to it. And the simplicity of connecting to it is looking directly at the problem, in this case, the emotion, as not existing in reality. It doesn't exist in your natural mind. It only exists in your Dharma mind. And this is the way he describes that. The essence of your dullness, or the ignorance of your mind, is simply clear self-awareness. The wide open moment that you look into the natural face of the void nature of thoughts in the world around you, this vital nature is called into being as the Dharma Dhatu wisdom, or the nature of voidness being the antidote to all stupidity, bewilderment, and ignorance. But the trick is to rest in this natural state. So you take your stupidity or dullness, look directly at it, realize it doesn't exist, and relax with that. That takes practice. In the same way, you look at the desire, the emotion, the essence of your lustful mind is simply attachment. And this is for sure. It's simply attachment. But this state is really a state of empty bliss. And the moment you can sustain it with practice without clinging your nature is called into the situation as an antidote of discriminating awareness. And that awareness is your natural mind functioning, not the drama mind. The trick is to rest in that natural state of awareness without adding to it or taking away from it or judging it. Just be present with it, and it goes away. That's Amitabha Buddha. Each of these emotions are dealt with the same way. So we mentioned the big three: ignorance or dullness, stupidity; attachment, anger, hatred; attachment, desire, lust. Okay. And now we'll get to the fourth one, which is called arrogance, pride. And when you have this disturbing emotion, you simply take it into the empty state by looking directly at it, removing it as an object. And when you do that, immediately equality arises, evenness. And that becomes the antidote when you learn this short path by relaxing with that as it disappears. Then you sit in that void state without the emotional affliction disturbing you. And more, when you do this kind of practice, the deity becomes, no matter what deity you use, Tara, Chenrezig, Mahakala, whatever deity, becomes the action of acquiring that state of relaxed awareness. And there's one more. Jealousy, envy, coveting. This is a state of relative awareness that is demeaning to the person that is constructing that emotion. And it leads to anxiety, depression, fear, and all kinds of other kinds of emotional unhealthy conflicts in your mind. But the antidote to that one is bodhisattva activity. And that means, you look directly at that essence of that emotional, say, jealousy or envy, as not existing in your natural clear mind. Its nature is voidness. It's made up by judgment. It's made up by the habit of reacting to outside influence or to your thoughts. So the more bodhisattva training you do with the guidance of the Lama, that disappears. And you realize its true nature, and that becomes what we call the green Buddha, antidote of jealousy, which is Amoghasiddhi. So we have names. We have Amoghasiddhi. Yeah, Abby.
I'm just putting my hand up, like Amoghasiddhi.
Oh, Abby's showing me the mudra. Abby knows this one.
I know them all.
She knows them all. Amoghasiddhi, Amitabha, Vairocana, Aksobhaya, and at the very end, Ratnasambhava, the antidote to pride. By regarding your disturbing emotions, these conflicting thoughts that cause you and others pain, the moment they arise, practice rejecting them. That means not letting them, that thought, emotional program, take you on a trip, take you into a drama situation. That takes practice. That's real bodhisattva training. They may be temporarily suppressed by your training, but not cut from their root. That means they'll arise again. Consequently, at some point, the poisonous remnant will reemerge according to outer or inner conditions of involvement with yourself, which doesn't exist, or others, or the environment. These are called mundane dhyana states. So there's that word, dhyana. It means light energy states. Yes, they appear, but they don't exist. And that, having the wisdom that they don't in reality exist in the clear mind's energy, which is the basis of all loving kindness and compassion, which is why we have the altruistic motivation as the theme of all of what we're doing. That books like this exist. But what I'm reading you is at the very back of the introduction of how to train of all the chapters before this one. Now you know that Tara, Chenrezig, the two starting points of bodhisattva training, the female and the male aspect, bring you to the fulfillment of all these Buddha energy programs is simply the realization of your own maturity in the human condition, because you can't do this in you can't do this in the heavenly situation. You definitely can't do it in the hell realms. You can't do it as an animal. You can't do it as a war god or demigod. And you can't do it as a deprived spirit. Not possible. Well, each of those kinds of emotional rebirths all started in the human condition. And we cycle emotionally through these types of unhealthy universes from the human condition to those and back to the human condition. And this has been going on, we don't know when, but the antidote is all five of these in one. All five of these Buddhas, with all five of your body's five elements, which is what your mother created you out of, is the five elements of the universe, and these emotional programs use as a powerful energy to be totally aware, totally mature in the human condition, whether you're in a body or not. And I say or not because we do leave our body. That's called the Dharmadhatu wisdom of Vajradharani, male and female, five elements, five wisdoms in union. He is blue and she is white. He is peaceful and she is wrathful. These energies make up the theme of the entire world and all that exists. And they are especially dissipated through the appearance of stupas, sometimes called children's or stupmas. But this symbolizes the five elements and these five Buddha wisdom natures in form, geometric form. So this symbol of all the five Dhyana Buddhas and all the five elemental natures of your body in harmony with this tantric union of male and female energies in the human condition. Now we practice. What are the six bodhisattva disciplines that you took refuge in? Generosity, number one, applied on the relative and ultimate condition of awareness. Morality, ethics, and good manners combined is number two, applied both on the relative and ultimate nature of mind and appearances. Patience is number three, so that you take the time with yourself to do that and have patience with the sentient beings in the world around you in these endeavors, in these practices. Number four is diligence or perseverance, that you're doing this 24/7, all the time. Number five is the practice of meditation and yoga as the direct method to move through these processes to accomplish realization quickly, whether it be the Sutra tradition or the Tantra tradition. And number six is intentionally connecting to the wisdom awareness of your consciousness as an antidote to your drama awareness. Then the deities come along as the mind of the Lama to assist in this training so that it happens in your situation. And since everybody is equal, it applies to everybody. But since everybody is different, there are different methods for different humans. Sit with your back straight, hands in a comfortable position on the knees or in the lap. Head slightly tilted forward. Tongue resting against the palate with the mouth closed or slightly open. Breathe through the nose, if you can. Eyes soft. Soften your gaze to the space and light energy in front. You do that because that's going to activate through your eyes certain glandular secretions through your brain, through your body. It brings everything into a state of clarity right away. What's directly in front of your mind, your eyes, is the nature of your thoughts and the true nature of the entire universe around you. Then bring your awareness or your focus to your breath. When you inhale, think or visualize the air that you are inhaling, which is composed of five elements, as light, white light, filling your lungs. The middle breath is called the absorption breath. You visualize the energy from that spreading through every cell in your body as red light, either in a flash or whatever speed you want. Then you exhale out the nose a combination of these two codes, the white and the red code, the light and the energy of the element, as a healing breath to all beings in space. So this blue light goes out your nose everywhere. You visualize that, you think that, like to the sky. This immediately sets you up with the other true nature of your mind's awareness. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. The absorption breath is the energies of that spreading through every cell in your body. Those two codes together out the nose is blue light available to everyone throughout space. And you practice this three lights meditation many, many breaths until you can settle into a state of peace and tranquility. Sunyata is called calm abiding. Do that. Once you've settled into this state of peaceful awareness, take your focus off the breath. Collect the code of the three lights, white, red, and blue, and their energy program into a single tiny dot of centered in your chest, creating a heart energy system called a bindu or a tigli in Tibetan, or chakra in Sanskrit. This tiny energy point of light is connecting to the infinite light of boundless space. And that state of void awareness becomes the basis or foot of all meditation practice. So for a few moments, simply relax in that state of complete open awareness. Be present in this stage of the practice. Past is gone, future hasn't happened yet. Now you've brought calm, abiding, and presence together, focusing on that tiny point of light or energy in your heart chakra. Visualize it or think it goes into a small sphere of clear light. Then you enter from spatial awareness into the three-dimensional awareness of what we call our universe. Then grow that small sphere of clear light till it assumes the symbol of one of the 5 elements that your mother created your body with and that the entire universe is made of. I'll choose the earth element because it represents a state of equality. All of us are in that state on this earth planet situation. It is visualized as a 6-sided cube, gold or yellow in color. And meditate is about the size of your thumbnail in the center of your heart chakra. Once you can see that 6-sided cube, yellow in color, clear, bring it out in front of your body and up before your eyes where you started this practice. About arm's length in front. Then for healing purposes, imagine that 6-sided cube to completely enclose your body like a large tent or room. And keep the label of earth as the predominant healing energy of this symbol. It's mainly what we eat. Then having absorbed the 5 elements with this healing energy of the earth symbol into our form body, share it by expanding it in size to completely enclose your town, city, or here in Hawaii, the island that you live on and the surrounding ocean, all of that inside. The symbol labeled earth. Bringing the awareness of your focus and your imagination together, expand it in size by visualizing it enclosing our Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. I use the term Mother Earth because all the elements are the mother principle of creation. Expanded in size to completely enclose our solar system. Everything for billions of miles in diameter inside, all the planets, sun, everything. Expanded in size to completely enclose our spiral disc-shaped galaxy, 100,000 light years in diameter. Go beyond the confines of your drama mind into merging the symbol with space. Centerless, boundless, timeless space. No meditation. Again, simply be present and contemplating this dimension of your life force. Then reverse the process by bringing the six-sided cube labeled Earth again enclosing the galaxy. Visualize it to shrink in size to enclose the solar system. Smaller and smaller just to enclose Mother Earth. Confine it to just your island, city, town, or a large area of where you're doing this practice. Then again, all of that energy program, seeing your body sitting inside this symbol. Receiving the full life support energy of the universe into your physical form. Then finish the practice by returning the symbol to its small original size in front of your eyes. Bring it to chest level into your heart center. Shrink it down to a tiny particle of light and blend that with the boundless light of space and relax in voidness, the nature of space, the nature of everything. No center, no boundary. Timeless in the instant present. End your practice by bringing your awareness to in front of your eyes and spread it into the area of your practice. And dedicate the merit or virtue of this healing energy program to the benefit of all sentient beings in the entire universe, your mother. Just to let you know, we teach this meditation to all levels of education here in Hawaii. Culturally, to the Hawaii Immersion Program for children, grade school, high school, and the community colleges. And we also teach it to individuals who have various training in modalities of healing. And that, together with the next set of practices we're going to do, is the totality of all the methodology of Buddhism, particularly shamanistic Tibetan Buddhism. This method using the 5 elements is particularly important for good health, psychic and physical good health in your body. On the relative level of treating what appears, the symptoms. But the real cause of disease, which falls into bacteria, mold, virus, and in many other scientific categories, is all causal. There's a cause for this. And to treat the cause, then we use the methods of bodhisattva training called the path of skillful means, which is based on the 6 bodhisattva disciplines and the use of insight or awareness, combined with the symbols of the Lama's training and use of bodhisattva symbols on both the peaceful and, we say, wrathful levels, along with the Buddha symbols of the Dhyana Buddhas and the Medicine Buddha and so forth. Now this is a lot. And so you take this on gradually by learning one symbol in the ultimate treatment of the cause of disease based on your emotional conflicting thought process and the judgmental nature that this habit that is arising with this thinking. And the true cause is believing that you exist, that you are your body, that you are your thoughts, and that you are these emotional conflicting energies which rise continually with your involvement with the body and the world and beings in it around you, your relationship. Truth. Relative truth, yes, they exist. Ultimate truth, but not in the true reality of the universe. The universe doesn't do this, doesn't have these conflicting emotions, doesn't treat you as an object or itself as a subject. It doesn't do that. These elemental natures that we're doing that they don't have that. Yet they exist. And so to understand that, it is helpful to know these 5 Dhyana Buddhas intimately with practice. And they are whatever peaceful or protector deity practice that you are doing it has all of these 5, and they're summed up with the 6th as Dorje Chong in Tibetan, Kunto Zongbo, or Vajradhara. And that is the tantric direct method of understanding your real nature, not this made up one that you've been conditioned into believing it to be who you are. And while you're developing in this other nature, even though all these symbols are presented, they are only presented as mind training. Do not identify them as who you are. That just creates a bigger ego, a bigger I, me, mine, more problem. So you do the practice, and we'll start with the first Dhyana Buddha, the most harmful of all conflicting emotional energy based on judgment of aversion, having aversion, not liking, something that's appearing either in your consciousness or outside of you in the world. And you deal that with a way by looking directly at the energy of the emotion of aversion as it escalates into anger, hatred. See, it starts to grow. It grows from aversion. Then you get too much of what you don't want, you get angry. Then you get more and more, and you start to hate yourself and others and the world around you. And then you go totally psycho into rage. Now you've left the human condition. And the long-term or future result, karmic result, is not favorable in any way for you, self, others, or the environment. So to deal with this cause, in Tibetan Buddhism, we have the Buddha of unity, where there's no idea of separation between one's subjective self and the objective world around you or the beings in it. No separation. Everything that exists is completely integrated into you. Every sentient being, every particle of every universe, integrated into you as your life support, health support, enhancing situation. And that Buddha is Aksabhaya Buddha, and it is right behind me on the shrine. And this you discern as an antidote to this affliction of anger, hatred, rage based on simple aversion, where you don't like something, you don't want it. Then you see yourself as this Buddha Aksabhaya with your hand resting on your right knee and your left hand in your lap, meditation posture. You're blue in color. Dressed in the robes of a monk, and you're sitting on a lotus sun and moon disk. That lotus sun and moon disk means you're going to take this into the human condition. It's your reason for taking birth as a bodhisattva. And when you can see yourself as this dark blue Buddha, then see the home sign, this sign, in your heart center. And think that all the beings in the universe are this nature of this Buddha. This nature of total integration, no No idea of existing separate or anything being separate. Complete unity. And with that thought, the mantra arises that connects that wisdom nature as the sound hum to the elemental nature of your body, which is water, as mirror-like wisdom. In other words, the nature of this mature state of awareness is mirrored in your body like an image reflected in water. It's called mirror-like wisdom. And the real essence of the mirror is it's empty, but at the same time can reflect anything. It's all pervasive. And it's applied to every single sentient being in the universe because that's the nature of the wisdom mind of sentient being. They're already that. That mantra starts with the sound Om. The Buddha's name is Aksobhaya. It's made of light, so it's a Diva, light vehicle. Mom is the nature of water, that element, blue in color. Hung is the nature of mirror-like healing wisdom, which is applied on all levels, symptomatic and causal, but it's specifically to anger, hatred, rage, aversion. Om Aksobhaya, Dewa, Mam, Hum. Write that mantra down. Be that Buddha nature, especially if your predominant, conflicting, judgmental mind produces anger or aversion on any level. Om Aksobhaya, Dewa Mam Hum. 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 Mom is for your body, mostly made of water. That's the mother principle of that element applied to your form for healing. Hum is the universal sound of healing to any situation of ill health, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Hum. And you're blue in color, and you're the symbol of a Buddha. Om Aksobhaya, Dewa or Diva, Mam Hum. Om Aksobhaya, 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 Diva, Mam Hum. Once you can see yourself as this Buddha, with this mantra going in your heart, circling the home, bring up your attachment, your aversion, or if it's escalated to anger, bring up your anger. If it's hatred, bring up your hatred. If you're in a rage, bring up the rage. Use the energy of that Don't subjectify it and don't objectify it. Just own it. Om Akshobhaya Deva Mam Ho. 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 If you have this predominant conflicting emotion, this will purify it. How does it purify it? It lessens its effect. It takes it away. Because in reality, it doesn't exist in the first place because there's no such thing as a self or a soul doing that. Only in the relative mind does that idea exist of separation. Subject-object duality, fixation, you fixated on it. Thousands of lifetimes it becomes a tendency, karma. This lifetime is useful for practice. Om Akshobhaya Deva Mam Ho. 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 As soon as this tendency arises, immediately Om Akshobhaya Deva Mam Ho. 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 Then using this chart of these afflictions, we'll move to the second conflicting emotion of jealousy or envy, purified by your body, speech, and mind, being in action, using this deity mantra and seeing it purify this green, with this green Buddha, Amugasiti, as the total action of body, speech, and mind being in its pure state of awareness. To use the energy of that to be mature, to have realization. Bodhisattva realization is everything is a mirage, like a dream. And you have compassion for all beings, each and every one, because they don't know that. Om Amugasiti, Diva, awe. Awe is the sound of energy. As this Buddha, Yam is the sound of the air element in your body, which is distorted by jealousy, which makes you unhappy and causes pain and suffering, makes you unhealthy. Prana, to correct that imbalance and bring things into a workable situation, Amogasiddhi Deva Yam.
So,
Om Amogasiddhi Deva
Yam.
is that Buddha, which is all energy. Yam, air, gas. The symptom, purified. The cause, purified. Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam. Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam 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 Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam. That Buddha is green, and the gesture is this hand raised, and the protection gesture or giving refuge, and the left hand resting in the meditation posture in the lap. Universally, green is known as the color of jealousy. Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam 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 Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam. So this treats the cause, this cuts the root of the affliction of not knowing that it doesn't exist. Its nature is voidness, and arises as distorted judgmental affliction coming from aversion or not getting what you want, having aversion to that, feeling less than, anxiety and depression and all other emotional conflicting energies arising from this causal one. So we cut it at its root by being this highest intelligent state of awareness of your own natural mind. Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam 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 Om Amogasiddhi Deva Yam. You're applying this with the Om for your body. The energy itself for your speech is the mantra, and the realization of its clear nature as voidness, not existing, as your bodhisattva activity, Om. Next, we deal with the dullness state, lack of clarity, lack of higher states of awareness, stuck in the drama mind, bewildered, ignorant, stupid. You become the white Buddha, Vairocana, white in color, and your hands are in the gesture of giving the three jewels and the three roots as refuge with your thumb and index finger touching like this or like this. Om Vairocana Deva. We say Vam for space, and Om. We say Om for the clarity, and space, Vam or Vam. Om Vairocana Deva. Om Vam Om. Vam is space. Om is clarity. Om Excuse me. Om Vairocana Diva Vam Om Vairocana Diva Vam Om Vairocana Diva Vam Om Vairocana Diva Vam White in color, and this is the mudra you're presenting, and the mantra circles the two syllables Vam and Om in your heart center. Om is the nature of everything, is clear light, the clarity of awareness, higher states of intelligence. Vam is the sound of the female element space, the mother principle of all element, the mother principle of your body. Om Vairocana Diva Vam 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 Om Vairocana Diva Vam. So whenever you're feeling really bewildered, ignorant, stupid, unclear, dull, unaware, be this white diva using these two sounds as the mantra, and bring yourself into your true, natural, ultimate nature of awareness. And cut the root of dullness, stupidity, and ignorance, so that these higher intelligence states of conscious awareness arise in your stream of being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Om Vairocana Deva Vam 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 Om. Then we move to the next conflicting emotion of arrogance, pride, aggrandizement, which means the need to be adored. Arrogance, thinking you're superior or higher or divine or supernatural. Pride, better than. No humility. No equality. No one taste, as they say in Tibetan. Lack of equanimity. Stable emotional energy program. And you become the gold or yellow Buddha of Ratna Sambhava. Using the earth element Lam, that mother principle of your physical body, Lam, Trong, applying evenness. Everybody is equal. Everybody is always already realized as a mature human being, a Buddha. That's called equanimity. Ratnasambhava, golden color, hands in the gesture of giving, and the left hand in the resting in meditation in the lap. So you're yellow and gold in color. Om Ratnasambhava, long, earth, Tram, equanimity, evenness. Om Ratnasambhava Diva Long Chong. Om Ratnasambhava Diva Long Chong. Om Ratnasambhava Diva Long Chong. Om Ratnasambhava Deva 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 Long Chong. Rest in the pure light, clear light nature of your natural mind. Whenever pride or arrogance or thinking you're superior or supernatural or any of that, this is the antidote. Apply to whatever conditions cause you to be that way or think that way. And the cause itself, of believing it to be who you are. And allow that to disappear into space and move to the last of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas, is the antidote to why you're in the human condition. Attachment, desire, lust, stinginess, neediness, never enough, greed. All of these afflictions simply arise because you judge something good and you like it. And this simple attachment escalates out of its own power into desire. Then desire grows into lust. Lust into greed. And then you become like a hungry ghost, a deprived spirit, never satisfied. Can't get no satisfaction. Overactivity and constant frustration. You become the red Buddha Amitabha, hands in the meditation posture in the left, right on top of the left hand, thumbs touching. Smiling. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Shri. You take the warmth of your loving kindness and your altruistic compassion, your concern for everybody's well-being, and of course the environment around you. That's the Shri. The Ram is the warmth of giving that to others. The warmth of your own body, the fire energy of your life support of light of the world around you. Everything is simply light in space. This infinite light supports all life. This is Amitabha Buddha, the realization of that. The light itself is the fire energy, the radiance of your own discerning awareness, your natural mind of wisdom, of being a mature human being. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. 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 Bring your lust, desire, your attachment into being this Buddha, sounding this mantra to cut the cause of this awful, painful state of suffering. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Hri. Om Amitabha Deva. Om Amitabha Deva Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Hri. Bring your lust, your desire, your attachment as soon as it arises. Cut it with this visualization and mantra practice.
Are we using the wrong?
Ram.
Wrong Hri.
Ram Hri.
Okay.
Fire, light. Om Amitabha Deva
Ram Hri.
Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. Ram is a female fire goddess. Tara, red. Hri is discerning awareness of your natural mind, your Buddha nature, your state of ultimate maturity in the human condition. It doesn't get better than this, ever. There's no ceiling. It treats the cause of attachment, desire, lust, greed, aggrandizement, all of that, and all related anxiety, depression, fear, and so forth. Om Amitabha Deva Ram Hri. 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 Then allow it all to dissipate into your heart center. The visualization of you as this deity, the conflicting emotional energy with its antidote, the seed solubles, all disappear into the clear nature of your mind, the light of boundless space, voidness, bliss. Relax in this state of discerning awareness as your infinite, universally applied state of being. Simply be present, relax, in the blissful nature of your natural mind. Now, all of what we did can be summed up with the center of the deity in the refuge tree. Kunto Zangpo in union with Kunto Zangpo. Vajradhara in union with Vajradharani. Dorje Chang in union with Vajrayogini. All of those titles are all 5 of these Dhyana Buddhas as the summary or summation of all your practices in Tibetan Buddhism bring you to nothing whatsoever. And that state of voidness, you're in complete harmony with the entire world and every being in the universe. That's the tantric ultimate symbol in the center of the refuge tree. And on the right, you got all the Buddhas. On the left, you got all the Bodhisattvas. In front, you've got all the protector deities and Dakini. In the branches of the tree, all the lineages of the lamas, unbroken lineages going back to Shakyamuni Buddha. Behind the branches trees, all the Tanjur and Kanjur, all the Sutra and Tantra texts. Around the tree, all of the Dakinis and Buddha energy fields. And the tree coming up out of the ocean of pain and suffering of the animal, human, and spirit world as a large ocean. And around the shores of the ocean are all your mother sentient beings and you making prostrations to all of these realized beings. You're already that. Now intentionally do what you feel is appropriate with the guidance of your Lama to realize that. And what is it? Is the foot of meditation is voidness. The head of meditation is devotion to all the lamas and deities. And the practice of dedication is taking those two as the basis for the concern and well-being of all sentient beings, like a mother for her only child. Unconditional, loving kindness. That's the practice. Each of you can discern for yourself which major causal conflicting emotional energy you're identifying with as who you are. And break that identification. It's not who you are. And may these mantras that we taught tonight, visualizations of these 5 Dhyana Buddhas, know that they're on the head of Tara, Chenrezig, and all protector deities and all Dakini female protectors. The Buddha is simply the realized human doing this out of loving kindness and concern for others. Om Vajradhara Vajradharani Siddhi Om Pe. 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 Resolve all sentient beings, your mothers, all the animals, all the humans, all the spirit, on this planet and everywhere in the universe, into you. Whatever Yidam deity you are practicing, Tara, Chenrezig, one of these wisdom Buddhas, protector deity, Dakini, whatever, be that. Then see all sentient beings in their relative and ultimate forms dissolving into you. Then you disappear into the hum in your heart center, the sound of ultimate healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the end of all pain and suffering, the ultimate and relative state of good health. Then you, in whatever Bodhisattva or Buddha image you're using, disappear into the seesaw with all the mantra into space. React in the mother, ultimate mother, the nature of your own mind, your thoughts, your body, everything, the clear light of space. The trick is to stay present in a state of presence and apply this to everything you do, say, hear, see, smell, taste, or touch.
Tonglen.
Taking it. We have a little bit of time in this practice session tonight to do taking and sending with the breath, Tonglen. Now this simple practice is based on voidness, the reality that everything are simply virtual. And you can see in the world around you this virtual reality appearing in everything transmitted through cell phones, TV, computers, etc., etc., etc. And this virtual reality completely distorts the already existing virtual reality of your own mind. And it does that by increasing your judgmental mind about the world and the beings around you, and who and what they are. So we take this virtual application into our practice. When we create the Buddha symbols or the Bodhisattva symbols or the seed symbols or the channels of light energy being in color codes, all of that, by using our imagination and in some way thinking that any state of pain or suffering or ill health can be transformed into the opposite. And we know that our imagination, often with extreme focus or good karma, actually crystallizes in reality as actualizing in the world around you. So the imaginary and the actual appear. When you do taking and sending, you're taking the foot of meditation, this void essence of everything, like space, and using the color code black to remove any unhealthy situation that you can think of or that you see through these medias, through these social media, or experience personally. You take them in like black light with your inhale into your heart of loving kindness and altruistic concern or compassion for others, the environment and so forth. Disappear it into that state of complete liberation or voidness. You imagine that You can do it from an individual, you can do it from a group of humans, animals, or spirits. You can do it from situations that are arising around the planet, like climate disaster, not climate change. How about war? How about states of famine and disease, lack of water, lack of food? How about poverty? Lack of housing, lack of clothes, lack of support. How about environmental destruction and the spread of toxins through all the lifestyles and social program in the human condition, causing extinction of the animals and complete upheaval of environments all over the planet, completely enraging the spirits which are in charge of these energy life support systems. Or certain individuals that we know are really hurting on the physical, mental, emotional, like houseless, homeless individual, or groups of animals or individual animals. This taking and sending can be applied to so many situations already existing individually and collectively all around it, 24/7, ongoing and increasing. Disease, viruses, bacteria, mold, toxins, in the food, in the air, in the water, in the earth, in your clothing, in your car. Take all whatever you think is appropriate in this black light into your heart center. And with your state of development of higher states of intelligence based on loving kindness and concern, compassion, give back to that individual collectively or individually the healing remedy. Imagine it. They're totally healed. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, environmentally, economically. You choose. There's an infinite variety of subject matter. This is the 8th level of development of Bodhisattva training, using your mind, your intelligence, your higher awareness, non-judgmentally, with the virtual reality of your imagination. Inhale black light, take the negative into your heart center, disappear. It doesn't really exist, but it does. Exhale white light with loving kindness and concern back to the individual, group, or situation and see it totally okay. In your mind. Start with a relative, a friend, a lover, a pet. Each and every one has 1,000 times more pain and suffering than you have. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. This is based on two bodhisattva principles. One, everything is an illusion. No more real than seeing water in the desert. Or a rainbow in the sky. You know it exists and does not exist at the same moment, at the same time. The second premise is everything is worthy of your concern. In some way, shape, or form, you can help to alleviate the pain and suffering of others. Using the own unlimited power of your imagination. It doesn't take a lot of human beings doing this practice to change the situation of these extreme calamities, crises that are going on in the world today. The Dalai Lama told me that. He's my teacher. And there are thousands of men and women on the planet today in Bodhisattva training school. Inhale. Disappear into your heart chakra. Exhale. Loving kindness and compassion. Remember, every sentient being is integrated into you. They were all in the timeless situation once your mother, father, friend, relative, lover, pet. Etc., etc. The most unkind, most abusive, most harmful are worthy of the most concern and loving kindness. Today on the internet, on YouTube, I saw a Buddha statue with Donald Trump's head face on it. Everyone is deserving of your wisdom mind, wisdom heart, energy. And in particular, I would like to do taking and sending for Burma. Myanmar, a completely Buddhist country, engulfed in civil war. Take all that extreme pain and suffering in like black light and exhale peace. See it all clear. Of the extremes of civil war. Every being, animal, human, spirit, in that place, okay. Inhale black light. Exhale the clear light of your wisdom mind with no judgment whatsoever. And I'd like to end tonight with two mantras. One represents the outer elemental energy, the mother principle of the entire universe, Tara. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re So Ha. 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 Om mani padme hum. 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 Padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Free. Kewa di nurdu dam shagya champo drugurne chowa chinking malu pa teyi sala gopar sho sanjay kusum dimpai jamadam choni megur dimpai jamadam kendu miche dumpai jamaki shitar guma munam drupar sho. By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, may quickly establish for all beings without a single exception in that state of being. By the blessings of the three bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of this Dharma being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of the Sangha, that's it, being unwavering, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness, be away from suffering and the causes of suffering. By our practices being established, all of them in bliss and equanimity. Duchiche, thank you, mahalo, and aloha.